So just a few like little announcements. We will be doing lesson 62 today, tomorrow, and Tuesday because there's no school on Monday. And then Wednesday, we'll have the last section, the last lesson in this chapter, which means we'll have a review and a test either the end of next week or the beginning of the following week. So we're coming close to the end of this, excuse me, the end of this chapter. All right. Man. So variation for today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. So today we're going to talk specifically about direct variation. And you may remember this from Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 or Algebra 3 maybe even. But for direct variation, the form is f of x equals k times x. So as x increases, f of x also increases. And the k is just called the constant of variation. And I guess I should in here say if k is positive, as x increases, f of x also increases. But usually with variation, that constant is positive. Sometimes it's negative, but not very often. All right. And so the graph, if you will, for direct variation is always linear. And problems might look something like this. For each of the following examples, y varies directly with x. So if y equals 4 when x equals -2, find x when y equals 6. And for direct variation, there are a couple of different ways you could solve these. So we know the formula. So one way you could solve it is plug in the x and y that you know. So 4 equals k times -2. And then solve for k. So y would equal -2 times x. And now plug 6 in for y. And we would get our solution. The second method you could use, because y equals k times x, and that constant is going to be the same for all of part A. If I solve for k, excuse me, what I can do is use a proportion and say then 4 over -2 is equal to 6 over what value for x, and solve using proportions. Cross multiply. So either method would work. Just make sure you're consistent on putting the y in the numerator and the x in the denominator. So the second example, y is 5 when x is -3. Find the y value when x is -1. So if I use the proportion method, 5 over -3 equals y over -1. Cross multiply, -3y equals -5, and divide. And again, I would just leave it as a fraction rather than as writing it as a decimal. So that'll be the first few problems that you have on your homework assignment for tonight. Then we get to everyone's favorite, word problems. Yay! And with direct variation, it's very similar to unit conversions. So the speed in miles per hour is, it should say, is directly proportional to the speed in feet per second. Find the speed to the nearest mile per hour of an aircraft traveling 1,000 feet per second. So miles per hour over feet per second is going to be equal to miles per hour, which we don't know, and feet per second, which we do know. So if I cross multiply 88y equals 60,000. And that one doesn't come out exact as a decimal using the calculator. If you wanted it as a fraction, I believe that would be right. Yep. So either in that case would be correct. And that's it.